I grew up in a traditional Christian church, and while it served me a lot of good over the years, it's not feeling as fulfilling to me. Any ideas how I can get my connection back to God in church or outside of it? Yeah, I love this question. I think this is kind of a common thing, actually a common theme in some respects as to what's happening, because people are waking up and people are saying, maybe the conditioning, the constructs of religion don't give me a sense of freedom. Maybe God is actually not outside of myself. Maybe I am part of God. And so when we start asking these questions or feel this discord with a traditional religion, and again, I am a fan in many respects of religion because I think that it provides people a structure, it provides people with a belief system that can be very inspiring and can create a sense of community. So if you're in a church and it's inspiring to you, it speaks to your soul, and you have community within the church, then keep going to church. Because that's what it's for, is community and to feel blessed and to feel loved and to feel whole in a group of people, that you're not on your own on this journey. In addition to that, I think you're waking up to another level and you want something more. You want something more than the scripture. Look, there is the Christian Bible, and I am not trying to diminish any aspect of the Bible. However, I'll say that it was written through a human lens, right? It's written through disciples. It's written through individuals who are doing their very best, I believe, to represent what Jesus and his proclamations had. He's one of the most enlightened figures that we know of, along with Buddha, Krishna, Allah. There's many. There's the Dalai Lama. There's so many that have brought forward this expanded state of consciousness. And so Jesus was one of those enlightened masters who walked the earth. And he had disciples that had a lens of which they interpreted his teachings, and they wrote them in the Bible. And so there are other huge, massive channels and books, I guess I'll say, that bring forward the teachings of expanded states of consciousness. For example, one of them is, and I talk about this a lot in my book, Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, because it was one of the books that really helped me, was A Course in Miracles. So A Course in Miracles, I actually started reading this. I got exposed to it through what I call my spiritual healer. And I started reading it and just absorbing it, even though I didn't understand a lot of what was being said in the beginning. I just was like, it's something is speaking to my soul on this. And luckily I had someone who was helping me to interpret the lessons and the learnings. And it wasn't until, I don't know, like maybe 6 months or more before I even really realized that it was channeled through an atheist, a woman who did not believe in God. And she channeled what she believes, these teachings from Jesus. So it's a whole incredible book on unraveling the mind, unraveling the conditioning that happens that takes us away from knowing who we really are and knowing our true self. So if you haven't already been exposed to A Course in Miracles, it may be a book that you're ready for, interested in. There's also books like Urantia, the Cabal. There's so many that bring a lot of these teachings of expanded wisdom. But whenever we get into religion, I think that sometimes we get into an ideology of a human lens a lot of times. And so when we get exposed to material that is from a very expanded conscious state, we do get more of the truth and less of the conditioning of which individuals want us to believe that the enlightened masters wanted us to think about ourselves, because we have the power within. We are God. God is within us. We are connected to source at all times. It's just a matter of remembering. And that is what A Course in Miracles does. It helps you to remember to who you really are. I so love that we are having all these conversations here. If you want to go deeper into topics like this and expanded states of consciousness, I have the special promotion that I was talking about earlier in the show before I got mysteriously cut off. And it's the Awaken Inner Wisdom membership. There's a special price, and it's only going to be until the end of July when we start the Awaken Inner Wisdom membership. So it's normally $133 a month. You are with me live for 4 sessions a month. We dive deep into topics and we expand broad. So if you are someone who has and loves these spiritual conversations and wants to know more about who you really are, and you want to be part of a group where we have these discussions, it's not a chit chat group. It is a deep dive into great lessons that I'm bringing to the table and transmissions that I'm giving during our sessions together. So the special price is $33 a month. I'll honor that for the first year, but you have to sign up before the end of July. Okay, I haven't even updated this on my website because Spirit just gave me this right now. So I am going to make that change. And anyone who's inspired, it is an application process. So apply to be part of the Awaken Inner Wisdom membership. I ask my higher self, Spirit, to help me really bring in a curated group of people who are ready to step forward. They're ready to step and expand into who they really are. So please, there's lots of ways we can work together. Keep joining the show. Ask your questions. If you didn't get to ask a question today live, please type it in the comments, or you can go over to bethbell.me/question and you'll be able to submit your question there. I so love that we are having all these conversations here. If you want to go deeper into topics like this and expanded states of consciousness, I have the special promotion that I was talking about earlier in the show before I got mysteriously cut off. And it's the Awaken Inner Wisdom membership. You are with me live for 4 sessions a month. We dive deep into topics and we expand broad. So if you are someone who has and loves these spiritual conversations and wants to know more about who you really are, really bring in a curated group of people who are ready to step forward. $33 a month instead of the $133. So you're going to save $100 a month if you sign up. You have to apply, so you still have to go through the application process. And Spirit, Universe is guiding me on the people that are really ready for this level of transmission and this level of learning. And so I'm super excited for you to experience this. You might want to go on to bethbell.me and take the State of the Heart assessment. It'll give you an idea of where your heart is. There's 4 different stages that we talk about. There's definitely some tips, tools, techniques, and modalities that you'll get for free. When you fill out the assessment, you'll get very specifically to you what state you're in, the state of the heart, and some guidance on that. And I can't wait to have you experience it and get some juicy nuggets for yourself. There's lots of ways we can work together. Keep joining the show. Ask your questions. If you didn't get to ask a question today live, please type it in the comments, or you can go over to bethbell.me/question and you'll be able to submit your question there. Now, with that said, I don't want to not mention that we have Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, my book, Unravel the Mind to Unveil Illusions. I go deep into my own life stories and provide a ton of tips, tools, techniques, and modalities that I used. And then if you love that, you may want to dive right into the Awakening and Healing Handbook. I go into all the modalities of which I talk about in the book, but in a much deeper way. I give lots of recommendations. It's a great guide. It really can help you expand quickly. And there's also the Psychedelic Resource Guide. So if you have any bit of you that's curious about spiritual medicines, you can dive into the Psychedelic Resource Guide. Or maybe you have loved ones that are doing it. You're like, I don't know why they're doing this. I want to learn more. Well, I would invite you to go to bethbell.me and check out the Psychedelic Resource Guide, because you'll find some really great nuggets in there. Okay, and on bethbell.me, we have the Herpes Handbook, which is very specifically about herpes, but it's also about getting rid of virus shame, right? And it's about just the viruses of the mind in general, reframing how we think about things in this world, like, you know, the this comes to me a lot, but the lesson in the Bible about lepers, right? It's like this whole guilt and shame thing that can come from so many different things. You know, it was AIDS at one point. It's the herpes virus. It's the COVID virus, right? So there's lots of different things that come into this shame. And so it's all about releasing that. And so that guide is also amazing. You don't have to have herpes to want the guide. You may know someone, you may encounter a new partner, and it's really a way to just get you into understanding and reframing some of these really difficult life situations. Thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate you watching live. Ask questions on bethbell.me/question. You can put them in the comments here. And I can't wait to see you again next week, Sundays at 11:11 Pacific time. And until then, wishing you much bliss and love on the journey. Namaste. The Awaken Inner Wisdom membership is a fee-based system. And I want to offer a very, very, very special price between now and the end of July. So you have to act quickly. $33 a month instead of the $133. So you're going to save $100 a month if you sign up. You have to apply, so you still have to go through the application process. And Spirit Universe is guiding me on the people that are really ready for this level of transmission and this level of learning. And so I'm super excited for you to experience this.